Sarah, we can hear you.
Hello, Peter. It's already 11:01. What time do you suggest we should begin the session?
Morning, Diana, and good morning, team. I see we are almost 29 on WebEx and allowed 11 on YouTube. I guess that we give them a few minutes, maybe allowed 5 more minutes, so then we can start.
Okay, noted. Thank you.
Thank you. Team, I am spent and thank you.
A huge welcome to all our participants joining us via WebEx and YouTube. We are now ready to start. I will hand over to Moses Gitau to kick us off. Karibu Bwana Moses.
Thank you, Diana. Good morning. Can you hear me, Diana?
Yes, Moses, loud and clear.
Thank you. Good and welcome to this webinar for the second webinar for CoBank and ISC. I would want to welcome Peter before I go on to bless the meeting. Peter, you in the call?
Yes, Moses. Thank you. Welcome all the participants to this webinar. And let's bow for a word of prayer. Our dear Heavenly Father, this morning we want to thank you. We want to appreciate you. We want to appreciate your goodness and your mercies. Thank you for this opportunity that you've given us as a cooperative bank to have a session with our customers, our MSMEs, as we have a session today as we discuss on how to access finances for businesses in 2021. We pray for your guidance. We pray that, Lord, you continue to be together with us. Even for our customers' businesses, we pray for them that, Lord, you bless them and continue to thrive even through this pandemic season. We invite you that you be together with us in this session. In Jesus' name, we do pray and give thanks. In Jesus' name we do pray.
Amen. Thank you, Peter. I think today's session we are discussing about accessing financing. We had a very interesting session last week on the outlook, the economic outlook, and and the opportunities in 2021 for our business customers. And I know we got feedback in terms of the opportunities that were highlighted by our economists. And as a bank, we have that commitment to continue supporting our MSMEs. Today's session, I think, will be co-presenting with Sarah from IFC. Sarah will be talking about the part of accessing financing. Then I'll come in later to say the support that we want to offer our MSMEs. How do we access financing in terms of the solutions that we have as a bank? Is how we access for now is to say that as a bank, we still committed to supporting the MSMEs survive during the post-COVID, the COVID and even the post-COVID period. And I think I highlighted, and I want to repeat here, I highlighted last time and want to repeat here, that as a bank, we have a kitty, a specific kitty for MSMEs, 23 billion that 21 have been supported through IFC, just to support MSMEs come back and both for working capital and expansion, all those things that pass we require to come back from the COVID situation that we have been experiencing as a country. We still promising quick turnaround time in terms of processing. I know there is need for that money, although research tells us the need is not as much. They're telling us the need is between 250 and $1 million for most MSMEs. We're still promising quick turnaround time. And I think most of these cases then is to say they will be done at the branch level. So your branch manager, your relationship manager, we've given them, we have empowered them to do those cases at the branch level. So most of them will not even come to head office for approval. So most of it will be even at the branch approval. We're still committed in terms of the relationship management that we're offering, the engagements, and those of us who still have whose businesses have still some impact or through the COVID, negative impact on COVID, we still working together in terms of the support, all those things that we offered last year, the rescheduling, the holiday, the loan repayment holidays, I think will continue. Our digital channels are still open, the M-Pop Cash, the COP Wajiran agents, the COP Online ATMs and M Collection, still open in terms of the support for the MSME customers in terms of transactions. There is the issue of the physicality, just as controlled by the social distancing, but our channels are still open in terms of supporting you. We have a limit of 2 million on COP Cash, that is instant loans for those who will be looking for working capital. And I also need to emphasize the support by the government of Kenya that we are partners also in terms of the credit guarantee scheme. So for the MSMEs, for those who are here and you are my customers, that facility is also available to you at the branch level. So also engage in your branches. It may not be much, but I think it's a very good initiative by the government in terms of the support for MSMEs, especially those who do not have adequate collateral. We continue to commit ourselves in terms of the trainings, the forums, the webinars that we are running. And I said last time we'll be running every Thursday, and I think we are living to that. We continue in terms of the training. And the last tray is the issue of information dissemination that we also continue doing through the MSME portal. I request that you visit the portal. It has a lot of information. It's a repository of even the videos that the webinars that we ran last year, and every other thing that we think could help you in terms of improving the operations of your business. We have a lot of material there that can help you as a business person. And we also post these recordings just to help you. The presentations that we're making, we also post them there just to help you appreciate what you can do as an MSME and the support we want to offer as a bank. I want at this juncture to invite Sarah, so I'll come in later, but I want to invite Sarah to take us through the accessing of financing presentation. So Sarah, karibu.
Thank you very much, Moses, and a very good morning to all of us who are joining us. I seem to have a problem with my video, but I'll get it up and running. But in the meantime, a very good morning to everybody who is joining us. I wonder where you're joining us from. Kindly go to the chat box and tell us which part of the country you're joining us from. As we start off this session today, I want to say that I am not alone. I am here We are a team of 3, starting with our team leader, Stella Masinde, who is here with us. And we also have Diana. Diana is our moderator, and she'll be assisting me to just go through this particular session. Really, she will be assisting us in terms of the technical aspects of running this webinar. So karibuni sana. At this point, I want to hand over back to you, Diana. Kindly just help us to familiarize ourselves with the platform, and then we can move forward. Diana, over to you.
Thank you, Sarah, and good morning once again to all our participants. Before we embark on this session today, let's go through some housekeeping rules. First, I will request all the participants to kindly turn off your cameras, and so far, so good. Kindly click on, follow the instruction on your screen by clicking the second icon from the left at the bottom of your screen. In order to ensure that we have minimal interaction during this session, I will request all participants to kindly mute your audio. And the microphone icon is the icon highlighted in red at the bottom of your screen. Thirdly, we will be using the chat box to share feedback and pose questions to the panel. We encourage you to provide feedback, to share whatever questions you may be having. And the questions will be addressed by the panel at the end of the session. We will have a Q&A session. In case you're experiencing any challenges with WebEx, kindly click on the audio icon, connect to webinar audio, and then select call using my computer. Alternatively, you could also join us through YouTube. And finally, today's webinar will be delivered by WebEx and YouTube, and the session will be recorded. Thank you very much, and back to you, Sarah.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Diana. I seem to be having a technical issue with my camera, but I'll be able to get it up and running as we go along. These are some of the challenges of technology. So a very good morning, and thank you so much, Diana, for letting us know how we can make this session as interactive as possible. And I would like to kindly ask our participants, kindly go to the chat box and just tell us your name and tell us where you are joining us from. It's always great to have you on board, and we would like to make this session as interactive as possible. We are really here to hear what are some of the challenges you are encountering as you are running your business. Just as Moses has said, yes, indeed, picking up from the webinar of last week, we were given a very promising, a very optimistic economic outlook in 2021. And we know that we cannot talk about economic turnaround without money. We need money, we need finances. And that's precisely why we are having this session, and we continue to have these sessions as we go along. For those of you who are not new in this forum, you know that we began to talk about access to finance last year, and we had a number of sessions just trying to look at our businesses, looking at the sectors we are operating in, and the bank, Cooperative Bank, has really been big on trying to understand what your business is all about, especially in the changes of COVID-19, and help you to access finance. So my question to you this morning is, how successful have you been in accessing that finance? Because that's why we have this session, so that we can help you. And we're really looking forward to hearing from you what your experiences have been. Maybe let me hand over back to Diana. Diana, can you kindly just look at the feedback that's coming in through our chat boxes in WebEx and also YouTube, and let us get to know who are our participants and where are they joining us from. Diana, over to you.
Thank you, Sarah. Let me go over to YouTube, and we have Millet Inzofu joining us all the way from Mumias. We have John Kabiru joining us from Mombasa. Tobias is in Tala. Jane from Nairobi Parliament Road branch. Francis from Naivasha. We have Frazier from Kajiado County, and Douglas from Kirinyaga, Bernard from Zimmerman. So thank you all to all our participants. Crossing over to WebEx, we have Victoria from Nairobi. We have Danson from Mukunda, Samuel from Kilimanjaro Butcheries, and Cyrus from Nairobi.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you so much, Diana. Thank you so much, our participants, for speaking to us. I think if there's something that COVID-19 taught us is the important place that digital platforms play. And it's amazing that we have people from Mumias, Mombasa, Tala, Parliament Road, Naivasha, Kajiado, Kirinyaga, Ukunda, and etc. Karibuni sana. Now, let me take the microphone back to you. And my question is, what difficulties, what is your experience when we talk about access to finance? How has it been for you? Is it working? Is it not working? My question to you is, as you're trying to access finance, because that's what these workshops are all about, these webinars, we are trying to do everything possible to understand you, to understand your business, the difficulties that you're facing, and make finance accessible to you so that you can move over your businesses. So my question to you is, as you've been trying to access finance, what difficulties have you been encountering? Kindly go to the chat box and let us know. What difficulties are you encountering when it comes to access to finance? Kindly go to the chat box and please let us know. It's only when we know what challenges you're facing, then we can be better armed or better placed to give you solutions. Kindly go to the chat box and tell us what is your experience when it comes to access to finance, access to money. Diana, can I kindly hand over the microphone back to you and just go through the chats and see what are the difficulties our participants are facing when it comes to accessing money from Cooperative Bank, for example. Diana, back to you.
Thank you, Sarah. So far, no responses. So I'm kindly requesting the participants, please share your feedback with us. Do let us know the challenges that you're experiencing so that we can better address whatever difficulties that you may be encountering in your quest to access finance.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Diana. I'm looking at WebEx. I'm not seeing any feedback coming through. I can see. Yes, I can see now the feedback is coming in fast and thick. I was getting a bit worried that maybe we are talking about difficulties in access to finance when everybody is all set. Diana, back to you, and maybe you can just give us a glimpse of some of the challenges that our participants are facing. Diana, over to you.
Thank you, Sarah. So we have feedback here on WebEx, and Rosemary is saying, as a small business that is doing pretty well, we haven't tried to access any financing to expand. What documents do we need to begin the process? Okay, thank you, Rosemary. James is saying where access is pegged to conditions that do not favor the customers. I think that's very general, James. So probably if you could be more specific so that we address the specific challenges that you're encountering. If I go to YouTube, Elma Contractors says that I have not approached the bank for financing, so not aware of any challenges. Tobias is saying, I think being accessed from last year turnovers, which definitely were too poor. Moses says high commission fees in supply chain finance. And then we have Damesh who says high borrowing rates. And then Patrick Oko says time frame and security needed. Frazier says lack of guarantors. So Sarah, these are just some of the challenges that our participants are encountering in their quest to access finance.
Asante sana. Thank you so much, Diana, and thank you so much, our participants. It's important that we know what challenges you're having from where you sit, so that we can give you answers. And Cooperative Bank team is in the house, and they're listening to those challenges, and I'm going to give them an opportunity to respond to some of those concerns or issues. You know, which are these documents that are required? What are the conditions and I'm sure that, and I want to assure all participants that we are capturing all your feedback and we are going to give you responses. So thank you so much. I hear issues of security. I hear issues guarantees and so on. And in addition to what you have put on the table for discussion, and I want to promise you that we're going to come back to that and tackle those, there are also issues or challenges that I have observed in my consulting experience, about 25 years or so, just working with the SMEs. And among those bottlenecks or those challenges that prevent business people accessing finance, I have just tried to list a few of them, and you can see them on the slide. Number one, poor cash flow planning and poor cash flow management. And cash flow is such an important topic, and we are going to address that in our webinar next week, same time, same place. And I'll be sharing with you some tips of how you can better arm yourself so that you can manage your cash flows, you can plan ahead of time. Another challenge that generally cuts across SMEs is record keeping. Record keeping is so important. Those financials, when you want to access finances, you can bet that you will be asked for financials. And sometimes just the fact that we're not keeping very good records, and I know running a business is not an easy thing. And depending on where you are, depending on the size of your business, depending on how new or old the business is, this is an area that we really need to strengthen. We need to be aware of as SMEs, and we need to make it our business to ensure that we have this, so that when you have a conversation with Moses, and he says, you know, bring those financials, you should have them ready, put them on the table, and then you can discuss. Another thing that hinders us as SMEs from accessing finance is because we know what our business is all about. And for that, I congratulate you. And sometimes when we begin to ask questions about your business, and now we are asking more questions as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic, because so much has changed in your business. And it is very important that we are able to spot out exactly what changes, what's going on in your business. And many of us as SMEs say, you know what, Sarah, of course I have the plan. And I ask, where is that plan? Can you give me a document? And some of us say, it's in my head. You see, you need to translate that plan from your head onto paper, a document that can allow somebody else at the bank to, because, you know, sometimes people are busy. They don't have the luxury of, you know, trying to figure out what your business is all about. A good place to capture what your business is all about is in this document called a business plan. That business plan can help you to run your business and also to access finance, now that we're talking about access to financing. And I'll talk a little bit more about this in the next few minutes. Another challenge is that some of us don't understand what banking products are available, or we have a very low understanding of these goodies that are being offered to us. And if you don't believe me, just go to the chat, Think about the feedback that we are getting, where somebody says, I don't know which documents are required. I don't know what the terms and conditions are, and so on. So this is precisely why we're having these webinars, so that we can clarify, so that we can tell you about the banking products that are available that can help you to access finance. I want to say a very big congratulations to Cooperative Bank, because I've seen a lot of, initiative from the bank side in terms of customizing products, in terms of asking you as customers, what do you need? What's going on? And for a long time, people talk about bankers being inflexible, not willing to flex, to understand, to change the processes. And those lengthy processes sometimes hinder, customers from accessing, finance and so on. But I think you're in the right place. I know you're in the right place at the right time, because the Cooperative Bank is really leading in terms of innovation, creativity, and customizing these products really to give you answers to questions that you have. Another challenge is the mismatch between your business needs and banking products. When we talk about access to financing, and you go to the bank and you have a discussion with your relationship manager, they ask you, why do you need this money? So you need to be very clear, what is this money for? I need money so that I can buy stock. Okay, that's a working capital need. I need money so that I can pay my staff. That's a working capital need. So sometimes when we go to the bank, because of misinformation, you end up taking a long-term solution for a short-term need. For example, if you want to, take on a mortgage, or you want to buy an asset, what are the best products that are available to help you to meet that need without squeezing you? You cannot go to the bank, take a loan, maybe for 3, 4, 5 years to buy a house. So it's about matching your business need to the products that are available for you at the bank. Another reason why people sometimes have challenges, in terms of access to finance, is that you're disconnected from your relationship manager. And I think I saw one of the bullet points that Moses was talking about. He was saying that one of the things that the bank is really being big on right now is relationship manager. So I want to throw a question to you, who says that, Sarah, I'm really having difficulty accessing finance. I want to ask you, how strong is your relationship with your relationship manager? Do you know your RM? Do you know them by name? Are you able to quickly call them and tell them what your need is? I always say that your banker should be your best friend. So it all goes back to relationship management. Kama uko na shida yoyote, who do you think of telling first? Your friend. And that's the place that the bank has. Overgearing. Sometimes we want to access finance, but we have so many other loans. Uko na loan pale Mshwari, uko na loan Tala, uko na loan kama mbili hivi, Cooperative Bank. You have, so this is now, it becomes a challenge, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that. Some of us, I know, have been traumatized through past experiences, maybe assets repossessed in broad daylight and things like that. And some people generally have the fear of loans. But you know what? We went through a lot in 2020, COVID, and now we are still, talking about COVID and post-COVID. It is a fact that if you want to move forward, you need money to do that. And this is where the bank comes in, and they can assist you. But it's a win-win kind of solution. I know last year we talked about, of course, as Kenyans, we know the important place that credit reference bureaus play, CRBs. And in as much as we're saying because of COVID, things are going to be relaxed, these are not things we can sweep under the table forever or throw away. So it is important that we address these challenges going forward. I just want to ask you, based on some of the experiences that you have had as far as access to financing is concerned, my question to you is, what do you think you can do better? What can you do better to increase your chances of accessing finance? Do you ever try to find out why am I being, what is the problem? And why am I, for example, my application, why is it being denied? And what can I do better? My question is back to you, our participants joining us from the WebEx channel and also the YouTube. What do you think you can do to increase your chances so that you can access finance? Kindly go to the chat box and give us some feedback, and Diana will be reading that feedback. So in as much as we are saying, yes, we have all these solutions, available to you, it's also important for you as a customer to see what can I do so that I can increase my chances to access finance. And I want to share with you a few tips. This, we say less is more. Number one, in order for us to access finance and to move forward, we need to look at cash flow management, because that's a big challenge that we have. One of the things, that we learned last year, if cash is not flowing into your business for one reason or another, you won't be able to make it. So I'll make some few comments about cash flow management. And then secondly, it is important for us to look at those business plans, write them. Let's have them in place. Let that business plan be yours and not the consultant's. And then look at that business plan. Is it reflecting the current reality of where your business is and where we are regionally, globally, and so on? And then you need to understand your lender, and I can't overemphasize, you need to stay close to your relationship manager. So when we talk about cash flow, there are so many things that we can talk about. This is a very wide topic. And that's precisely why we have dedicated the webinar for next week just to talk about cash flow management and nothing else, the whole session, because this is very important. I am not sure about the composition of the participants who have joined us this morning, but I suspect that some of you could be beneficiaries of the forbearance sort of arrangements. The bank was saying, look, we understand, we are you. We know that you're going through a difficult time as a result of COVID. And I know they invited you and they said, come, let's discuss, let's have a conversation. But when it comes to cash flow management, the fact that you have been given some leeway, some exemption, so to speak, does that mean that if, for example, your business is beginning to pick up, that you should say, okay, because I have this arrangement with Moses, let me just lie low, let the money come in and I'll use it for other purposes? When we talk about cash flow management, it is cash flowing in and out of your business. And I'll be giving you tips, very many tips of how we can increase the cash flows into our business. And of course, you need to control that cash flow so that there is a pool of cash in your business at any given time for business operations. So look at the income coming in. One of the great blessings of COVID, I would say, is the lesson to diversify. Diversify your income streams, number one. Number two, when it comes to spending, start tightening the tap. As business people, sometimes you may get, let's say a customer or a client has paid you and there are some good millions in their account. And then suddenly somebody bumps into you and tells you, you know what, let me tell you the next frontier where cash is. I'm actually bringing a container of certain, products. How about we team up together? Help me to bring this container. You bring your money, put into this venture. This is how we are going to make money. I know that you have that cash that you had been paid and it is sitting in your account. The question is, this person who is telling you, come, let's get into a partnership. Let's make money. Had you thought about it? Is it in line with your business objectives? Is it a priority in your business? And many of us sometimes fall into the trap. You go to the bank and you give them instructions. Please prepare an RTGS to that particular account in the hope that when those things come through the container, utauza and so on. And then maybe, of course, you haven't thought about it. You haven't done your feasibility and so on. So you find yourself with a lot of stock, your cash is tied up, you don't know what to do, and now your business is starved of cash that you would use for operations and so on. These are things that we need to watch out for. Avoid those kind of impulse decisions, like the example that I'm telling you about. Avoid consumptive lifestyles. And if you can't do that at an individual level, how will you do it for your business? Food for thought. Another tip here, as far as cash flow management is concerned, prioritize loan repayments. Very, very important. Nobody needs to tell you to prioritize your loan repayments. And if you have some excess cash, accelerate the payments through lump sum payments. So those are a few tips that I can give you today, because I want to give Moses an opportunity to talk to you in terms of the products. But next week, we're going to talk about nothing else apart from cash flow management. So that's just a few tips that I can give you for today. The second tip that I want to give you is about business planning. Business planning is so important. And it's very important that you write down these things. Wacha kusema, I know these things in my head. You know, these days there are so many things that can make your head fire. So kichwa ikiruka, that means it has gone with the business plan. It's very important for us as business people to think about succession. This person who is going to help you to run the business, what do they know about that business? Is it written down? And if a business opportunity arises, how will you convince Cooperative Bank to give you that access to financing? So sometimes the challenge is with us. The problem is on our end. The problem is not necessarily on Cooperative Bank's side, because of course, this is a business. This is other people's money. So you need to convince them. And one of the things that will really help you to go a long way in packaging, presenting your case in a way that it will win is by writing down a winning business plan. You know, last year we had a session and we were saying one of the things we must constantly do, continuously SWOT yourself. What are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? What are the opportunities? What are the threats in this, business environment changing that we are operating in? And how can I customize and adjust my business plan? So business plan, very, very important. Write it down. And whatever you've written down, it must reflect the reality of what's going on in your business. It must reflect that opportunity. Usually as business people, we'll go to the bank and we'll say, Moses, please give me money. Why? Because it is not personal, it is for the business. So this business plan is what will convince, will show Moses, what is this opportunity? What is it all about? How big is this opportunity? How will you be able to repay that money and things like that? The next tip that I want to share about is it's very important that you understand Cooperative Bank. Sometimes people throw stones when they haven't understood what are the conditions. And I just love that question that was asked, what is required of me? And I just want to allow you to get into the shoes of Cooperative Bank from where they sit. And these are some of the things that they're looking out for. Yes, you want money. We are all trying to access money. But number one, what is your character like? What is the character of your business? Are you the kind of person, ukifanya biashara, ukipata pesa, let's say through M-Pesa and so on, do you bank it? Unapitisha your pesa through the bank account, for example. And even when you do, what is your behavior like? Your bank account can tell us so much about you, your character. Some of us, I know you put in money today, by tomorrow, hakuna kitu. Character. Character is important, your reputation. Are you the kind of person who keeps your word? When you say, I'm going to pay by this time, do you really pay? Another thing that you need to consider is collateral. And this is an issue that has been raised earlier on through the feedback that came in through the chat box. That security, that asset, just in case. But when we talk about collateral, just one key thing I want to say, please remember that at the end of the day, the bank is not in the business of reselling your assets.
Very fair.
That's not the core business of the bank. So really, this money is just as a safety net, but really not to compel the bank to sell your asset. The other thing we look at is your capacity to pay, and this is one of the things that has really come into the forefront as a result of COVID-19, because we know that we have all been affected and we are recovering. Uwezo wako wa kuingiza pesa katika biashara yako, how strong are you? And this capacity to pay will be determined by, number one, how many other loans you have in place. So when we talk about access to finance, do you also have these other loans? And that is now very easy to see through CRB. So watch out for that. Watch out for your income projections and work on it so that you can get money into your business, money enough to repay your debts, but money enough to also continue with your operations. Capital. What is your investment in that business, in that venture that you want to go into? You know, people always say, I think the best thing is to trade with other people's money. Before you use those other people's money, what is your investment? Are you putting your shillings into where, into your thoughts and into your declarations about your business, for example? And then, of course, we also look at the conditions. We're looking at global conditions. COVID-19 is at the forefront. We're looking at the industry, what's going on in your industry. And generally, how strong is the business to withstand these conditions that are taking place in the environment? And I want to now stop there and give Moses an opportunity to talk about some of the products. Moses, you had somebody saying, I don't know what products are available. So I think this is a good opportunity to just speak through some of the solutions that you're able to offer. Moses, over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Sarah. That was quite elaborate in terms of the requirements. And I think you are turning to be a banker now. Very good advice to my customers. And just to start us off in terms of the needs, I've seen a lot of queries raised, a lot of feedback given. I think we'll get back to that during the Q&A shortly. But just to highlight a few things in terms of the customer needs, is to say any MSME has three basic needs in terms of banking, and these needs will be transactional. The second one will be the working capital if you're in business, and the third one will be investment capital. And why do I call them transactional? A transactional account, or a transactional need is met by an account. And that's why as a bank, we've come up with the three package accounts, the gold, silver, and the bronze. Those accounts are available for business customers. We do link those package accounts with what we call payments or collection solutions. And these solutions would help you in terms of now the transacting or collecting. It's M-Corp Cash, it's whatever on phone. M-Collection, they will help you in terms of collection. It will also help you in terms of terminating through Lipa na M-Pesa. So payment and collection solutions will be linked to a transactional account, such that all the money that you sell, if you collect through M-Pesa, you're able to terminate that money into the package account. So the three packages will be the gold, and the gold is for those who are selling up to above 100 million a month per year. Sorry. Silver will be those who are selling up to 100 million, between 10 million and 100 million per year. And bronze is at the entry level where you are selling up to 10 million per year. That is about 800,000 per month and below. So those are the three package accounts. They all vary based on the size of the business, and each has its own solutions. And I'll shortly be sharing how then we link those to the solutions. The lending need, which I think is critical, and this is what we are talking of today, accessing financing in banks. I think is a need that we need to understand very clearly. How then do I go to borrow in a bank? How do I meet my lending my lending needs in terms of as a customer? And just to highlight to say, even the fund that I talked to, it's around cooperative bank to lend to its members. So the money that the bank rents is actually your deposit. The bank comes in as an intermediary. The money that the bank rents is actually the customer's deposits and other rules, like what you now borrowed from IFC, saying I borrowed 23 billion just to lend to my members. So for us, again, we have also to be prudent as an institution to ensure that this person who will be coming back for their deposit tomorrow, they are secure in terms of accessing their deposits. And that's why you'll have some terms and conditions. That's why I will say there are those that perhaps will have unsecured, there are those who require security, such that in case of default, if it happens in case of default, what will be my second way out? But the bigger thing is the cash flows. What comes in as cash flow? So in that case, then in terms of the lending needs, we'll either go through secured or unsecured, depending with the product. If you could move on to the next slide, Sarah, is to say I would want to cover some basic lending solutions that we have as an institution. And the first one, which I said is a primary one, for any business to thrive, it requires some working capital. The day-to-day stocking of the business, the day-to-day payment of salaries at the end of the month, those things that you pay your suppliers on day-to-day basis, that is what we call working capital. And I think Sarah, in her presentation, has talked about mismatch. You'll see most of us wanting to borrow long term, while our need is short term. I think that is a working capital is a short term need that requires to be sorted, because that money that you require day to day is, if you are a manufacturer, you require to manufacture. That is what we call working capital. If you are a person who is trading, you require to buy, sell, and get your money back and you pay the bank. So those will be short term facilities. And the critical concerns here, as I talked of, I talked of the three package accounts, the silver, the bronze, and the gold. I think it's just to say that the critical concerns will be the sales growth. How then do you, if you are looking for working capital, how have you grown your sales? The stock management, how are you managing your stock? The staff, because if you're in a trading setup, it means also have to contribute a lot in terms of managing the stock and also doing the selling for you. And also the critical part that comes in terms of collection. If you are to give on credit, if you are to be paid on cash, do you get that cash appropriated in the right way? There are issues of expansion, which comes in partly as working capital and partly as investment capital. But for the three packages, just to highlight that each of them comes with its own limit. A bronze account comes with an unsecured limit if you are transacting of up to $1 million on phone. The silver package comes up with an unsecured limit of 6 million. The gold package comes up with an unsecured limit of 10 million. The rider for the unsecured facilities have to be very open here, is to say you also have to be transacting with us, because as I said, whatever we are lending is your deposit or other customers' deposit. For us as an institution, we are basically an intermediary. So we are getting deposits from one person or lending to the next person who has that need. So it means we have also to do the lending in a prudent way. And one of the commitments then that we have to get from you as my customer is to say that I'll continue banking. I'll be banking almost 100% with myself. The three packages also come with free personal accident cover, and as up to between 100,000 and $1 million. Again, this is in case of anything. In case of some death or permanent disability, it goes with that. They all come with online banking. What I said earlier, the issue of collections, the issue of payments. They all have a checkbook, and all have friendly withdrawal. We have also friendly withdrawal across the counter in case you have to get to the bank. These are very key in terms of now running a business. Working capital. If you are to look for any working capital in your business, you need to be in this package. And as I said earlier, all these packages, we have an approval authority at the branch manager level. And I think Sarah asked a very pertinent question. How does your relationship manager understand you? How does your branch manager understand you? That relationship with your branch manager, with the relationship manager, will lead you now into accessing the funding, because if they understand you, they'll be able to package something for you. Most of the needs, especially as we come through the COVID, are within the branch manager, what we call the branch manager approval. So the branch manager, the relationship manager should be able to deal with your request. Sarah, if you move to the next. I talked of investment capital and investment. As a bank, I think I would want to only handle two areas that would be critical for a business person. The first one is asset financing, where we finance motor vehicles and machinery, and the second is mortgage. And starting with asset financing is to say that as a bank we have partnered with the motor vehicle dealers in the country. Isuzu East Africa, Simba Colt, Toyota Kenya, Nissan, all those who selling motor vehicles. We've partnered very good packages for our business people. And I think this is a continuation. You've done very well for the last 3 years under this segment. But just to encourage to say, for our MSMEs, this package is still available for you. We are financing up to 95% for the cost of motor vehicle. We have a repayment holiday of about 60 days across all the dealers. And it comes with what I said earlier, the working capital, up to a limit of 500,000 shillings. We have a repayment period of up to 60 months, very minimum appraisal fees, which is 1%. And we have very competitive insurance packages through CIC. Let me confirm that is across all the dealers. So the solution we are saying, you're either buying an Isuzu make, a Mitsubishi make, a Toyota or a Nissan. I think those terms are applicable across all the makes of the motor vehicles that will support you as an MSME. If you move to the next slide, Sarah, is to say, apart from the ones I mentioned, we also have Tata machinery and equipment. We also do it. Those in agro value chains, those in agro processing, we do equipment and machinery. For equipment and machinery, we do it at 80%. And we have a repayment period of about 6 to 60 months. This is based on the fact that between the owner and for motor vehicles, but they are matched within a period to say that machine will give you a return and start making profit for you as a business. Those in agri business, we also do finance tractors. And you have partnership with Toyota. I think they call the New Holland. The makes are called New Holland. We have the Same, FMD. Those are supported through asset financing again. And for tractors, again, we do between 80 and 70%. Rather 80% for the tractors and 70% for the manager. Of course, the plows, those things that come with the tractor is financed at 70% and 80% on the tractor itself. Again, a good repayment period of up to 60 months. With this, we allow seasonal payment if you are purely doing farming. So it also comes with insurance and all those other issues that come with it in terms of working capital that helps you to buy fertilizer or inputs for the farm if you are a farmer. So that is one of the investment capitals that we make we support for our customers. The next one is which is very key and very dear, is very sensitive actually in terms of mortgage, because mortgage helps you own a house. For most of us, if you're in business, perhaps it's a bit difficult to say how do I accumulate money to buy a house at the end of the day. So mortgage comes in several forms for MSMEs, and I would just want to highlight this. I won't take my time here, because this is a key area for us as MSMEs. Number one is to say we can help you as an MSME purchase a property, plot purchase. We can go to house purchase. After plot purchase, we can do the construction, financing the construction, be it residential, be it commercial. We can do equity release. By equity release, we are saying you may have used your money to buy a property. You may have used your money to buy a rent. You may have used your money to buy a house. we can refund that back money to the business as far as it's evidence that that money came from the business. And we have a very unique one, I think one of the best in the market, where we are what we are calling landlord financing. This comes in only to people who are in who are landlords, and we give ourselves a certain limit in terms of the threshold for rent collection up to anybody collecting $1 million and above. Is a product that you enjoy as a limit. There are no hassles in that we don't ask you where you are taking the money. You just have to say you evidence that you are collecting that money with us as an institution. You'd want to purchase a property, you'd want to maybe do construction to the rental income, so landlord financing. So in essence, for an MSME, you may have the need to buy a plot. I think we are saying we are available to do a mortgage. You may have a need to buy a house, be it your residential, be it the business premises. To do that, you may have the need to do the construction, either for your personal house or for the commercial house. You do that. Equity release and what I talked of in terms of landlord financing. The key highlights under mortgage, again, is good to say.
Bakari.
Hello.
Bakari.
Hello. Maybe you could mute. So is to say the key highlights in terms of financing is that most of them will do up to 80%. Terms of up to 10 years. Some will go up to 15 years based on the age of the customer and also the business model. We have an addition of that will help you to take us to about 90%. Distributions and as a business. You suit diversified income streams, so it depends on the income that you have. The availability of properties, again, you do hub that also can help you in terms of searching property. We can bring looking for a property, through the property hub, we can link you to a seller or to a buyer to a seller, and vice versa. To finance property, and faster. The property hub, I think, is called Corp Good Home, and it's there through our website. And if you access the Corp website, Corp Bank website, just ensure you again the Good Homes site. If you move to the next slide, Sarah, is to my 2021 commitments, the activities sensitive I was taking through 2021. I think we talked of the national which comes in by for question of the money, evidence that region you are coming from. Articles, as I said earlier, shared through the MSME portal. Articles are all for independent recordings, the webinars are property, and all information from Cooperative Bank that would help you in terms of improving your business and also understanding the solutions that you have as a bank. We continue with the customer visits both at the we continue with that. If the economy opens up internationally, we are planning to have a business trip for exposure for our customers towards the end of the year, and I think information will be coming. With that, maybe you could also move to the last slide on call to action as I end, is to say, most of this discussion, whatever we are doing here is passing on information, and most of these files will be closed at the branch. So my request in terms that you engage your relationship manager or a branch manager. Most of you are coming from a branch. If you are not yet our customer, we invite you to join Cooperative Bank, and we request that a buyer will also be reaching out to you after this, the contacts that you've left. I think it's called to visit any branch near you and find out more about account holder in Cooperative Bank. We invite you to open the account and get the properties. For those who are with us, we are saying leverage on the payment transaction solutions that will help you in terms of banking and making payments. You don't have to the bank. You don't have to come to the bank. I think about 95% of our customers are now transacting through alternative channels. So you can either you operate your bank account from your phone or from your laptop or from whatever gadget you'll be having as a customer. And I think the key thing and the reason we're running this forum today was how do I access financing? So I would want you to identify and present your business financing needs to your relationship manager and the branch manager. So if there is any support that you require, these people are open in terms of support. The branch managers, the relationship managers across all our branches are open. Identify and engage. They will support you based on the understanding that you come through. And keep attending these webinars just for us to continue sharing. I would want to stop here so that we have a session to take questions and feedback. Diana, I would want to pass to you so that you give us the questions that we can handle now.
Thank you very much, Moses, and thank you, Sarah. Over to the questions coming through via WebEx. And the first one is from Samuel, and this is a comment. Samuel says hello, Moses. Can you hear me now?
Hear you now.
Okay, perfect. So the first comment is from Samuel, and Samuel is from Kilimanjaro Butcheries. And he says the biggest challenge for him is getting his e-statements on time. We have Rosemary Kinyanjui. Rosemary says, as a small business that is doing pretty well, we haven't tried to access any financing to expand. What documents do we need to begin the process? And then we have Samuel Okombo. Samuel says, why do approvals take really long to come through? After banking for 10 years plus with a turnover of over 25 million shillings per month, one cannot be able to secure an unsecured loan of 4 million shillings. And then Caroline Mwazi says, it's very useful, the efforts the bank is making to educate clients on lending products. The bank is also well placed to help clients clarify their borrowing needs. I think then finally from Rosemary Kinyanjui, Rosemary is asking, what are your interest rates on these borrowings for cars? So kindly address those questions before we cross over to YouTube.
Thank you, Diana. And I would also invite Peter to answer a few questions. Peter, if you're on the call, I would also to invite you to answer a few questions. But let me pick it from the Kilimanjaro Butcheries, the gentleman of Kilimanjaro Butcheries. I think I had the issue of the e-statement, and I'll pick that with your branch. I know you have started your branch. I'll pick that. It should be available instantaneously. The issue of Rosemary, in terms of, I think, thank you, Rosemary. I think you've talked of saying for now you may not you have not had needs, but you're thinking of expansion. Let me say you are with the right partner in terms of the expansion, and the process is basically what I explained. Manager, your relationship manager will help us understand your need critically and prescribe the appropriate solution. So for Rosemary, my request is that you talk to your branch manager and the relationship manager. The person in the branch is called a business banker. That should be the person who should be able to handle your request. Samuel Okombo, thank you also. You're saying you have a long time history with us and the turnovers of over 25 billion. Thank you for that support. And your concern is on unsecured. Again, I wouldn't to be specific to say exactly what it is because I don't have the facts on it. Huh? But I think considering that you are turning over 25 billion, you are candidate. Unless there are other issues, you are candidate for unsecured facility. So those other issues, perhaps that whatever is prohibiting you from getting that pass can also be answered by the branch manager. But let me confirm your candidate for that. Consider based on what I've picked. Let me just confirm your candidate for that, and you can visit your branch for more information in terms of engagement. Caro Manzi, thank you for that positive comment in terms of the use of information. And as a bank, we'll commit to continuously educate our customers. We'll commit to continuously have this kind of engagements, both at the branch level and at the head office level, just to pass on the information. And one of the things that happens especially in MSME lending, is the more the customer is informed, the more we work together, the better the portfolio and even the better the growth. I have customers I really to showcase, but if you go to the core bank website, the MSME portal, you see customers who have gone from very humble beginnings. People who are borrowing 50,000 are now in the range of borrowing 100 million. People who are borrowing for 20,000 are big institutions now. I think people who started as colleges are now universities based on the support that you are given from Cooperative Bank. People who started in very small manufacturing units are now big manufacturers in the country and actually recognized. So that is the essence of us growing the MSME. And thank you, Caro, for that feedback. And but the bigger thing is the understanding between the customer and the bank, so that you prescribe the right solution and keep working together. But with that, what I would want to say to our customers is also keep close, keep your bank informed in terms of whatever you are doing, any steps that you are making in the business area, growth of the business, any investments you are making. It will be important to keep the bank informed. Rosemary, the issue of the asset financing, we are regulated in terms of interest rates. We are at 13%. This is a regulated rate across board. So we are renting at 13% on motor vehicles. I think you asked about that. I think that is it, Diana. Maybe you could pick in others. Diana.
Yes, thanks, Moses. Let me cross over quickly to YouTube. And we have APC Achola, who says the process of accessing finance is too slow for those not working as public servants. Douglas Kimamas says when repayment period is more than 1 year, approvals will always delay. We have Millet Nzofu from Clever Bee Academy, Mumias, and the feedback is that I've been your customer since 2002 and have never been a defaulter. It's only last year when I was denied a loan to improve on my business infrastructure as we were experiencing the challenges of COVID. And then we have a question from Fisher. I'm well informed now. What are the interest rates for mortgage or buying a plot? And then we have, yeah, I think let's address those for now as we wait for additional questions to come. Over to you, Moses.
Thank you, Diana. Peter, you could address one of pressure, the interest rates. I'll address the one of B Academy. Then you could also address the one of Douglas, the approvals beyond 12 months. And the one of the process that is too slow. Maybe Peter, you could start as I go to the one of Diana, of B Academy. Peter, are you there? It's okay. Diana, if you are able to.
Moses, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, Peter is on now.
You can hear me, okay. Thank you, Moses, and thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Diana, and thank you, customers, for the questions that you've asked. I think even before I go to the questions that Moses you've said, I think there was a questions regarding the documentations. What are some of the things that we need? Just to say that we look for general documents across the banks, and I think one of the documents that we really need is the identification documents. If you are an individual, we will need an identification document to say that we need an ID, we may need a KRA PIN. The business that you are operating needs to be registered, so we may need to see a business permit, and the business permit might need to be for 2 years, just to say that your business is, registered. Then, if it's a business that is just registered, we may need a certificate of registration. That is part of the identification. Then, depending also on how the business is registered, if you are in a company, limited company, then the bank may also need to see who are the directors. So we may need a memorandum and articles of association. We may need the certificate of incorporation and the KRA PIN for your business. Then from there, I think then we, having identified who you are, then again, just to see who you are in terms of the history. Have you been borrowing? Have you been banking? So maybe if you don't be banking with us, then we need a statement from another bank. Again, if you've been borrowing elsewhere, we may also need the borrowing history documents, maybe the letter of offer from the other bank. We may need a loan statement just to see how you have been paying your facilities. So these would be general documents that will help us to identify you as a customer, and just to see your history and how you are registered, and even the directors that are there, so that we know. Again, on the product that we give, it is a property purchase. We may need to go ahead and look for the title deed, and maybe the sale agreement of the property that you want. So these are some of the documents that are general. It depends again on the solutions that you are looking for. Maybe those would be some documentation, and I think we can continue to engage our branches so that you get the final documents that depending with the solutions that you're looking at. Maybe going now to the other questions in terms of the interest rate for the mortgage. Our interest rate currently is still at 13%. We are still regulated by central bank rates, so we still maintain at 13%. I think in terms of the delay on cases that are above 1 million, and even before I go to why we could be having that delay, is to say that we have opportunities to be getting loans, immediate from the mobile loan applications that we have. What we have done is to score you to say, depending with your behavior, depending with how you bank, you can access solutions, from the comfort of your, where you are, through the mobile loans that we have. So, and should we then look for other maybe facilities that are beyond that? Our limit actually goes up to 2 million, but currently we are doing up to 1 million. If we then go to the physical application of the loan that is above 1 million, then sometimes you might find delay because of maybe the security documentation that is needed, maybe the title deed, security perfection, maybe the issue around logbook, maybe just to documentation process. If it is an asset finance, you might find us having some delays based on maybe whether the vendor has the units. So those could be some unique cases where maybe the case might delay. But in terms of the approval, I think the bank have committed to be giving an approval within 24 hours, or a decision, if it is a deferral or a decline, it should be given within 24 hours. So I think every customer who is here should be able to know that the case has been applied. I should be able to get my response or the fate of the case within the 24 hours. I think those are some of the questions that Moses you had shared with me. Maybe unless there are other questions.
Thank you, Peter. Maybe to address the issue of the academy, you've said you have been a good customer with us. Thank you for that. With no default history, thank you. And you're sort of disappointed because you got some decline last year after you came in for infrastructure. Let me start by saying committed in terms of supporting the education institutions, the schools. We even had a specific webinar. I don't know whether you attended, but we had a specific webinar for schools, and we continue. We committed to support. I would be glad that saying I think you calling from you are tuning in from Mumias. I would be glad that to refer you to my branch manager Mumias, and we have that chat from there to just sort out what the issue would be. But we are committed, and we supported a lot of schools in terms of infrastructure development and all those needs that came in with COVID, the expansion issues, the salaries. We even developed a solution to pay teachers just to sustain them as staff. I wouldn't clearly understand what the issue would be, but let me refer you to my branch manager in Mumias, so that if that is your branch, so that we can agree on how to support you. But my apology for that decline papers. We didn't come up the engagements, but with that, once the branch manager picks it up, majority of our institutions, private schools, including a seminar that a forum that I think had the highest attendance. The best for me was through education institutions. Somebody has asked about, I think it was Tobias, who asked about what solutions do you have on the assessment of turnovers for the last year. I know we are coming from a situation that even as an institution understand the turnovers were low, so we have that consideration to say as we analyze, just compare, look at the turnovers after the business picks up and the engagement to say that my business has come back. So the turnovers for last year, of course, there will be an interview to understand what the business you are in, what happened, maybe the projections. But we have that understanding that most businesses were affected. So as you present your case, it's just justifying, rather evidencing to the branch what you are doing, and maybe how the business was affected by COVID, and we should be able to consider you for a facility. And actually, we are looking at the turnovers of post you look at even the turnovers of 2020, 2019 up to March, if you are in business. So in terms of assessing then the months that your business went through for 2020 may not really affect the assessment for your case if you are, but you have to also confirm you're in business and back to the level that perhaps you were in before COVID or somewhere near there as we do the assessment. I think that is it, Diana. Any other query?
Yes, Moses, we have maybe one more question from John Debbie. Peter had addressed the general documents required, but John's question is, what is the security for business loans? Margaret Odongo had commented that the difficulty we're experiencing is that if we go to the bank, they first request for security, but I'm sure following the presentation, you've seen the options available for unsecured facilities. That's it for, yeah. We have an additional question from Vincent Nyatieno, and Vincent asks, what is the maximum limit for business plus loans?
Thank you, Diana.
Okay.
Okay, let me allow you to go. Diana, you have something?
No, it's okay. Those are the two questions pending from YouTube.
Yes, the security, the question on security, I know Peter had addressed, but let me say you can either go secured or unsecured, depending with the customer profile. And for the unsecured, I am saying you need to be banking with me 100% in terms of the turnovers, everything needs to come in. It's a certain threshold up to 10 million based on the package you are in. As I said earlier, between 300 and 10 million based on the package you are in. But the turnovers, your turnovers also have to be whatever banking with me 100%. For secured, again, we'll be looking for the kind of securities that we take will be landed property. I think Peter talked of that, the title deeds. We also take motor vehicles when you are doing an asset finance. We also do motor vehicles when you are doing small loans of working capital. We do motor vehicles. We do shares listed in the Nairobi Stock Exchange. Those are part of securities. We do insurance. We also do cash, where you have some cash set aside for maybe a project and you have a short-term need. We do cash as security. So security, in terms of the security, will be diverse based on the need of the customer. And we can also use the same, if you are buying title land, you can use the same title that you are buying as security. If you are buying motor vehicle, you can use the same whatever motor vehicle you are buying as security. So it doesn't mean that if you don't have a title now, you want to buy it, we can also use the same title that you're buying as security. The issue of the business price, currently we at a million. Also depending with the turnovers, we do score based on the turnovers, but shortly we'll be going to about 2 million for the business price. Business price is the whatever is available on phone, the facility available on phone, and we should be able to do that for up to 2 million. Currently, it's at a million based on the turnovers and the score that the customer gets. The secret of this is that you have to continue banking, because you assess it based on your bankings and the deposits that you retain in the bank. So it's important if you are to access it. One of the biggest factors is the more bankings you do, the better. We also assess. We also look at your business, but the bigger portion is the turnovers that are coming to us as and the score that you get from our scoring engine. Peter, I don't know whether you have anything else to add on that.
No, Moses, I think those are the questions that were asked in terms of the security. Yeah, we have an option for customers to say what they are. And I think maybe Moses, just one thing maybe to add is to say that, and Sarah had mentioned, that the relationship between the banker and the customer should be that one of the patient and the doctor, where the customer discloses what all the details of the business and the right details, so that even as the banker is prescribing the solutions, they understand. So some customer will come and say, I want a facility, and the facility might totally be different. The way it will be treated, it will be different from what the other customer will be treated, based on who the customer is. You might be having very good cash flows, but you don't have the security. Then the bank should be able to prescribe a solution for you based on who you are. So I just encourage the relationship part of it to say, disclose who you are to the bank, so that we know you, we know the weaknesses, and we know the strength, and we are able to give a solution depending with who you are and depending with how your business is. So maybe those are the comments that I have, Moses.
Thank you, Peter. Diana, if you are around as we close the forum, let me say that we have an exciting session next Thursday on cash flow management, and I think Sarah will be presenting on cash flow management. I invite all our participants to come through, so that we follow through now these three weeks that you're almost looking at the same thing. But cash flow management will be key in terms of now the way you repay your facilities, the way you relate with your bank, and the way you also relate with your suppliers. Because if there is no proper cash flow management, you may not be able to pay your suppliers. You may not be able to pay the people supplying to you. You may not be able to do the purchases. It's very important that you also attend that forum next Thursday. So I think unless Sarah, you have something to add on to what you said, I think you come to the end of today's forum. Thank you for attending. Sarah, you have something to say today as we close?
No, not at all.
Okay.
Just to the participants all the best as they access this finance.
Okay. Thank you. Let me remind them that I have a kitty that gotten from ISC, 23 billion available for MSMEs, and I think the bigger need will be met by the branch manager. So visit your branch managers for any borrowing needs. Thank you so much. God bless you.